Each of the form question types provide a lot of options for customizing how that field displays or the logic for when it should show or hide on the page. There are a couple ways to get to it. One way is if I just double click anywhere within the form, it will give me the list of questions to customize. So if I wanted to enter the name, just go here on the right hand side and click the pencil icon to get to modifying the properties for the name. The other way to get to that would be just to double click on the field that you want to enter. So let's say we want to go right to the email field, just double clicking that takes me right to the email. So if I go into the name question here, there's a lot of options for customizing what this field does and how it behaves. So let's say I wanted to have a separate label for the first and last name. The default label here, that one is just one that is for both of them. So if we want to say, what is your name? That would control the label for both of these input fields. But we wanted to have a separate one for first name and last name, so I would just clear that out, and each name field has an optional label. So if I wanted to say first name and remove the placeholder text, I can do that there. Last name, and remove the placeholder text there. And now we have a separate label for each of the fields. Optionally, there's a description that you can add. So let's say we wanted to add a link here to say, what information do we collect about you? If I wanted to add a link, you need to go into rich text editing. So selecting this box will open up that editor, and the link icon will allow me to insert a link. So say that would be just to a privacy policy somewhere. That can be within the path or some other site that inserts that right after that question there. Option, I can control the size as well. So I wanted to make this a 12 point and make it smaller. That can be done by selecting that. And there's options to both customize text below or after the question. There's a lot of ways to make a form very customized. The options for pre-filling, a lot of times data might be passed in a URL that you want to pre-fill on the form. So in this case, I've set up a few mapping variables within settings that will allow me to do this. So if I select pre-fill this input and I choose the first name URL parameter, that will basically take the information that's passed in the first underscore name parameter and pre-fill that in that input field. And doing the same with the last name, just selecting the last underscore name will pre-fill the last name for the last name field. There's also logic, so you can actually control the logic of how this question appears. I'll get more into that in another video on how to control form logic within a page. That's how you customize form object within the builder.